What up, guys, and welcome back to Real Talk Sports with Rico. Today, I will be your host. Today's show, we are talking about the points that I think that you should look for in this upcoming second half of the NBA season. Before we actually jump into the content, let me first and foremost thank the fans out there for actually going ahead and liking and subscribing to these, actually checking us out. I also want to go ahead and thank the sponsors out there for putting sponsorship on the show. We so appreciate that. And then also, too, I just want to thank the platforms. You can actually find this show on YouTube. You can also find this show on Spotify as well. The links for the shows are actually going to be in the show notes. And so without further ado, guys, let's go ahead and jump into the content. Like I said, we have 3 points. Let me start with point number 1. And that is, can the Los Angeles Clippers win the West right now, guys? And so, look, I mean, it is pretty evident that these guys are having a really good season at this point in time. And I mean, if you're looking at it right now on the screen, I'll kind of move that out the way. They're 33-15 in the Western Conference here. They are plus 250 to win the Western Conference as well. And they are the favorite to actually win the Pacific Division here. And so, here's the things to think about this with the Los Angeles Clippers, because they're on a historic path right now. Kawhi has played 48 games thus far. He only played 52 last season, which is huge. Next up, he is averaging 24.1 points per game. He's also averaging 6.2 rebounds per game, 3.7 assists, and 52.7% from the field, 45.3 from the field as far as shooting the three-pointer. And so right now you're looking at Kawhi Leonard putting together one of his best seasons as a Los Angeles Clippers. And those percentages at 52.7 and 45.3 are his best percentages since he has been with the Clippers here. So the real issue with the Clippers is I have called them the Dallas Cowboys of the NBA. They hype you up, they get you there, and then they fell in an epic way. Look, what do I mean by that? The Clippers last season, they lost in the first round to the Suns. I get it. They had injuries, but this is what I'm talking about. There's always something with them. The Clippers didn't make the postseason in 2022. The Clippers lost in the conference finals in 2021 to the Suns. Remember, that right there was another injury-riddled trip in the playoffs. And then in 2011, when Chris Paul got to the franchise, they had never, ever even been to the semifinals. So we're talking almost over a decade, guys, where the Clippers have been really good, but they just haven't been able to get past that. And so that's not even counting too that they lost to the Nuggets in the 2020 conference semifinals after being up 3-1. Everybody expected them to take on the Lakers in the conference finals and actually dethrone the Lakers. Not only did they lose in the semifinals, and not only did they have a better record than the Lakers there, but the Lakers went on to win the championship. So that is one of the biggest questions that I think we have in the second half there. Can these guys put it together? Can they win not only the West, but can they win a championship? And so you're looking at James Harden, you're looking at Russell Westbrook, Paul George, and Kawhi Leonard. These guys also have, I think, 5 guys or more that actually average over 20 points or so. So if the Clippers can't get it done now, when is it? It may be never. So that is point number 1 to look for in the second half of the season. Next up is the Bucks. Can they get right? Okay, so with the Bucks, this is an interesting situation. So the Bucks are 3-7 under Doc Rivers at this point in time after starting 30-13 with Coach Adrian Griffin, which was strangely let go. Obviously, if you've been following the NBA, one of the things that they said was, look, the window is closing and we need somebody in here who we think could bring it all together and who has some championship experience, which was quite interesting that you went out and you got Adrian Griffin, then you fired him before the midseason mark. And I know there was a little bit of dissension there. There were some player-only meetings with Bobby Portis, Giannis arguably had some situations on the sideline where he wanted to go back in. Adrian Griffin wanted to pull him. So that was an interesting situation. If you go back and look at that particular game tape, Dame Lillard, He's had trouble, I think, acclimating here to Milwaukee, the playing style as far as offensively, and not only offensively, defensively as well. You knew what you were going to give up when you gave up Drew Holiday, but it has been really, really porous here. At this point in time, the Bucks have lost by an average of 10.8 points per game or more. They've lost to a Miami Heat team that did not have Jimmy Butler. They've also lost to a Grizzlies team that was missing all five starters, guys. And we know how decimated the Memphis Grizzlies are. They also are playing about as well as the Detroit Pistons are playing. And you know, the Detroit Pistons have made history for their poorest play at this point in time. Currently, the Milwaukee Bucks are 23rd in defense, giving up 118 points per game. In 2021, the Bucks had the worst defensive rating, but still were able to win a championship. But in that particular year, they were only giving up 111.4 points per game. And so, I thought that Milwaukee was going to have a lot more range. I thought that they were going to be a lot more lengthier with Brook Lopez, Giannis out there, Crowder out there. I still thought that they had Covington. They had a defensive presence before. I thought that they were just going to get a lot better, and it just has not happened here. And so I think that Milwaukee has to for sure fix the defense. And what I mean by that is not only just stopping opponents from scoring. But if you watch the Milwaukee Bucks, guys, they can't get timely stops. And that is very, very scary. So that is the one question that I would say that Milwaukee has. And if you're looking at the screen right now, Milwaukee has the third toughest schedule to finish the season at this point in time. And so the schedule is not going to get any more favorable for the Milwaukee Bucks. This looks like this is going to be a disaster waiting to happen. And then I love Doc Rivers as a coach, but it really it makes you think like, okay, Doc has won the championship with the Boston Celtics in 2007. It's like, how long is he going to be able to ride that success here and still get these opportunities? So a lot of pressure on Doc Rivers. I hope that he figures this out. I do like Doc Rivers. I love Giannis. I've always liked Dame. He had one of the better all-star games, and so did Giannis as well. So hopefully this propels them, because I think the East is wide open at this point in time. If you're looking at the Philadelphia 76ers right now, Joel Embiid is probably going to be out for some time, and his knees, you could probably write a story about him. And then when you look at Boston to me is like one injury away from sliding out of their top Eastern spot. So I think that Milwaukee, the door is right there. Certainly the Miami Heat have been decimated. So let's see what happens. Next up, guys, and this is kind of hypothetical here, but is it possible that we could see a postseason without Stephen Curry, LeBron James, and Kevin Durant, guys? Look, at this time, the Lakers are 9th in the West, the Warriors are 10th in the West, and the Suns are 5th in the West. And so, look, I know the Suns are right there in the thick of things, but if you've been following them closely, Bradley Beal has had the surgery done on his face. He's had some soft tissue issues going on with his hamstring. He's had some issues with his back as well. And then on top of that, Kevin Durant, and his injury history. Devin Booker has missed time as well. And I talked about them being a top-heavy team. And they're like the Boston Celtics in the sense that they are just an injury away from changing the fortune here of the franchise. And so it is possible that they could possibly get past. I mean, it is possible that all these teams right now, these three teams could be fighting for a play-in situation, or even worse, not even in that play-in situation, guys. So let me know what you guys think in the comments here, because I think that it is quite possible, guys, that we could see a situation where there is no Kevin Durant, there is no LeBron James, and there is no Steph Curry in the NBA playoffs at this point in time. And I just think that if this were to happen, I feel like that this would be maybe bad, I think, for the NBA, because I can't really remember a situation where I haven't seen like LeBron and Steph and Kevin Durant not in the playoffs. I mean, since they've essentially been into the league. I mean, given the fact that, yes, I know LeBron James and the Cleveland Cavaliers were terrible in the first year, but I think within that next year they were able to get in. And OKC, it took them about 2 or 3 years to kind of get in. Same with Steph and those guys like that. So it just makes me think, man, is it a passing of the guard in the West? Because right now the Timberwolves are 39-16, which is a franchise and a Western Conference best. The OKC Thunder right now are 37-17. They are second in the West. You got the Nuggets. You know that they've been there before. The Pelicans are starting to surge at this point at 33-22. But some of the teams that realistically could kind of go and knock out the Suns, the Kings, they're chasing them. They're at 8th. The Mavs could get them. I think you could argue that Coach Mduka and the Rockets could possibly pick it up and find some traction there as well. So, like I said, there is a real chance that all these stars could miss the postseason, and I think it would be a shame for NBA basketball. And so with that being said, guys, that is today's show. Make sure that you press like and smash that notification bell to check all the videos here, guys. And I just want to thank the fans out there who have listened in on the show from a week-to-week basis here. And then also want to thank the sponsors out there for putting sponsorship on the show. Once again, guys, this is Rico with Real Talk Sports. Enjoy the second half of the NBA season, guys. I got some more content coming to you guys. I'll see you on the next one. Peace.